Hey, hi y'all. Here we go. 40 days. Number one. The first topic I'm going to hit on is very simple. Christianity is dangerous, and Christianity is immensely beneficial. It's dangerous because you can get stuck in, as John Paul Jackson says, you can get in a stronghold of a group mindset. Or like I say, you can get into peer group insanity. You can be doing a bunch of things right and actually ignore other things. Christianity is beneficial. Christianity is dangerous. You got to understand both atmospheres. Number two, there are two atmospheres in Christianity. The persecution zone, where they might kill you if you're fooling around with the Jesus stuff. And the freedom of religion zone, where the dark forces are working in laziness, comforts, too much attention to one area of the Jesus message and ignoring a bunch of other essentials. Christianity is beneficial. Christianity is dangerous. You're living in a persecution zone, or you're living in a freedom of religion zone. Freedom of religion zone is much trickier. You have to fight for your life to stay in a clean mindset and a right conscience. Number three on this talk. Number three is the Romans chapter 2 deal. Read Romans 2. Go clickety-click on Google, Romans 2, and figure out how to look up the Message version, the New Living Translation, the New American Standard, the Complete Jewish Bible. Just look at it in a bunch of different versions. What you find is that the declaration is made that there are human beings who are basically atheists. There are human beings who are refusing to have interest in God, but they are operating in the details of their lives with a pure conscience, with a humility, and with a right behavior. So the point that's being made is conscience, your right or wrong conscience on the inside has a supreme strength. And you may find on the final day, when all things are evaluated, that people who don't seem like Christians may be evaluated as performing well or completely acceptable by the God that they're not interested in. That is a curious concept. Now, sometimes it's easier to speak to a total stranger than it is to speak to people that have a whole track record with you and don't like this and expect that, and et cetera, et cetera. So I speak to you as a total stranger, and I say, look, if you're going to get near Christianity, right now, get out your pencil and write these things down. If you're getting near Christianity, I want you to check out the Supernatural Miracles on the Street Ministries. Miracle Ministries on the Street. Write that down. The Last Reformation. Fielding Go Harvest. Go Harvest is one word. And there are many other ministries. Doug Collins, Windsor on Fire. There's a fellow named Rafi, R-A-F-I, Aladorian. a nice Armenian guy, Aladourian, I believe. These people are worth observing because in what they call the Book of Acts, ordinary people, commercial fishermen, are making miracles on the street. They're just healing people. They're kicking spirits out. They're doing wild stuff. And the actual presence of God, the Holy Spirit, is coming on people because they're just out there doing the thing. So, Miracles on the Street Ministries, check them out. Go hang out with them. Cut out other parts of your life and flow on the streets with the people that actually have the powers of Jesus of Nazareth. Miracles on the Street Ministry. There's this guy named Curtis Sargent. He should be studied. Curtis Sargent. Look up the Zume Project, Z-U-M-E, zumeproject.com, Zume Project, and look up Curtis Sargent, YouTube, Multiplication Ministry. His whole story is downright remarkable. Take the time, cut other stuff out, listen to his testimony. Miracles on the Street Ministry, Multiplication Ministry. Next, the early Christian writings and the focus on the early Christian lifestyle or primitive Christian lifestyle ministries. At the forefront of this is Scroll Publishing, scrollpublishing.com, Scroll Publishing YouTube, as well as that, thelastreformation.com and The Last Reformation YouTube and Facebook. Learn about the miracles on the streets that are happening right now around the world. Learn about the multiplication of beautiful clusters of people in homes, not in institutional structures, buildings, and denominations, but in homes, from one home to another. Miracles on the Street Ministry, Multiplication Ministry in the homes, and discerning and seeing what 300 years and 1,000 years of the first wave of Christianity, how they were behaving. Learn how they were behaving. Cut other stuff in your life out and figure out what happened after this Jesus of Nazareth guy was on the earth. Figure it out for yourself, because you're in the information age and you will sit down with people that don't care about various details, and they'll act like they're hot stuff. That's the dangerous part. They'll have some things on right, but they will be crippled in other areas, and they won't actually be able to help you in the ways that you need help and freedom. Miracles on the Street Ministry, Multiplication Ministry, Early Christian Lifestyle Ministry, and then lastly, what I have to offer, which is just family honesty. My heart and my mind was driven to figure out ways of preventing drug addicts from relapsing, regardless of how much church they're doing or not doing. If they have little honesty times in their homes, even if their families and parents are atheists or friends are atheists, if they have little honesty times in the homes, they can just admit the sad or secret troubles that they're having, and they won't have a reflex of texting somebody and having somebody drop off a bag because they want to feel something in their veins. They just want to escape under a buzz. So that's where Grandpa Honesty Guy and the Crown by the Trail Family Honesty Camp comes in. Come on and camp out with us. Paddle canoes, pedal bicycles. Join us for the We Shall Overcome family sing-along, bonfire and barbecue. That's what we do. I mean, the greatest thing about people is getting together with them and doing little chores. Gardening, carrying canoes, paddling, fixing the bike up, going for a little excursion, and talking together. and finding the places where we have troubles and fears and weaknesses and things like that. So this is the beginning. This is the beginning. And even if you want nothing to do with Christianity, that's okay. Understand that you must operate in a pure conscience at all times. And if you do get curious, I mean, here's the deal. If a person is operating in pure conscience and they are offended by Christianity because they've seen a lot of evil and wicked, they will be evaluated by how they operate by conscience. But if you discern that there's an afterlife, if you discern that there's a spirit realm, an extremely active spirit realm around you, and you want spirit guidance and spirit powers to be upon you to protect you and your loved ones from spirit troubles, then if you've discovered that we've been visited by a manifestation of God in human form, and we can actually channel or receive or invoke power from that person in a way that's totally benevolent, refreshing, and protective, even in the most difficult situations. If we find out that there is a way of having greater spiritual guidance and powers, and we're just plain not interested because we're too busy doing whatever, car shows to school and business and life and et cetera, if you're not interested in actually getting spiritual empowerment from this strange Jesus of Nazareth visitor, then you may be evaluated as a bad life business person. So I put that on the table. You and your loved ones will be evaluated by how you handled every situation through your conscience. But then at the same time, you are also going to be evaluated as to whether you were actually looking for powers from spirit and from the spirit realm. That's number one. It's an introduction. I'm going to tell you the story of my life. I'm going to tell you how I was abused and misled and kept ignorant by the elders and teachers and people around me. And I want to invite you to be something completely better than my elders and teachers and pastors and spiritual leaders through my life and through my youth, because I've observed much. And before I die, I want to transfer much good information to you. Yippee.